I chain smoke and I say fuck a lot. But I accept myself for the way I am. I accept you too. Viewer discretion advised. First off, I just want to say it was a terrible thing that happened to George Floyd, and it was disgusting to watch. And I really hope that his family gets justice. There's also a lot of weird things about it too, but this video isn't for that. This is another video. As riots, most likely funded by George Soros, burn down our cities, and COVID-19 ceases to be an issue, some of this may seem irrelevant, but it's not. The spider's web has many layers, and the more we peel off, the more that reveals itself. And speaking of Soros,
this would be the time, because you really need to bring China into the creation of a new world order.
Globalists spend huge sums of money manipulating media viewpoints. In early 2014, David Brock, a Democratic Party operative,
also James Alefantis' ex-boyfriend, but we can't talk about that anymore,
revealed that his organization, Media Matters for America, MMFA, uses money from billionaire globalist George Soros to work directly with establishment journalists to influence the corporate media in an attempt to counteract the alternative media. White House visitor logs, as reported in the Daily Caller, a 24-hour news publication, showed that Brock and MMFA officials met regularly with Obama aides, including Deputy Communications Director Jen Psaki and Senior Advisor Valerie Jarrett.
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
For decades at least, there's been a lot of scheming behind the scenes. In private elite gatherings such as the Bilderberg Group, the Council on Foreign Relations, and the Trilateral Commission. If you ever wonder why none of these get any news coverage, you just have to look at their guest lists.
It includes top executives from the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Los Angeles Times, the Wall Street Journal, NBC, CBS, ABC, Fox, Time, Fortune, Business Week, U.S. News and World Report, along with many others. Since the media are part of the group's think tank sessions, we have to question their discretion. If it is overdone, why? Why would they censor themselves? When asked this question at a CIA gathering nearly 25 years ago, CFR member Katharine Graham, the legendary Washington Post publisher, told the audience, "There are some things the general public does not need to know about us and shouldn't." In fact, the CFR's systemic conspiracy has been mentioned more than once in the past by some of America's leading individuals. As early as March 26, 1922, John F. Hylan, mayor of New York, in a speech said, "The real menace of our republic is the invisible government, which, like a giant octopus, sprawls its slimy length over our city, state, and nation. At the head is a small group of banking houses generally referred to as international bankers. This little coterie of powerful international bankers virtually run our government for their own selfish ends." On February 23, 1954, Senator William Jenner warned in a speech, "Today the path to total dictatorship in the United States can be laid by strictly legal means, unseen and unheard by the Congress, the President, or the people. Outwardly, we have a constitutional government. We have operating within our government and political system another body representing another form of government, a bureaucratic elite which believes our Constitution is outmoded and is sure that it is the winning side."
And finally, we've officially defunded the WHO.
The WHO, World Health Organization, was heavily funded and influenced by the Rockefeller family. along with the United Nations and the World Bank.
which now leaves Bill Gates as their #1 funder, instead of #2.
It's a phrase that I often use myself, that we needed a new world order.
And then there's also the whole Joe Scarborough thing, which has been re-raised. He admitted, although jokingly, to having an affair with an intern and having to kill her.
You know, I asked you why you went in Congress. You said you'd had sex with the intern, then you had to kill her.
Exactly.
I mean, that's pretty risky to say.
What are you going to do?
Donald Trump, May 24, 2020. A lot of interest in the story about Psycho Joe Scarborough. So a young marathon runner just happened to faint in his office, hit her head on his desk, and die? I would think there is a lot more to the story than that. An affair? What about the so-called investigator? Read story. After Trump tweeted about it, Joe's wife, quote, "It's our job to control what you think," Mika,
he could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think, and that is our job.
Yeah. Then campaigned viciously to have the tweet removed.
First of all, Twitter, you shouldn't be allowing this, and you should be taking these tweets down, and you should be ashamed of yourself. You'll be hearing from me.
How dare you?
On this, because this is BS.
I never knew who her father was and what a major role he played.
People in Obama's cabinet who are members of the Council on Foreign Relations include Defense Secretary Robert Gates, Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano, Commerce Secretary Bill Richardson, UN Ambassador Susan Rice, National Security Advisor General James L. Jones, Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner, Economic Advisor Paul Volcker, and Director of the National Economic Council, L.H. Summers. Many of these same names, plus others, appear on the roster of the Trilateral Commission, co-founded in 1973 by Zbigniew Brzezinski and David Rockefeller. Brzezinski, a former chairman of the commission, was Obama's principal foreign policy advisor during the 2008 campaign, and it was generally accepted that trilateral members groomed Obama for office.
We've got to give them a stake in creating the kind of world order that I think all of us would like to see.
The affirmative task we have now is to actually create a new world order.
Not only was Brzezinski in the Council of Foreign Relations a founding member of the Trilateral Commission, but he was also a Bilderberger.
Among the select members of this club are Bill Clinton, Paul Wolfowitz, Henry Kissinger, David Rockefeller, Zbigniew Brzezinski, Tony Blair, and many other heads of government, businessmen, politicians, bankers, and journalists from all over the world.
Because I love it so much, they also created the Great Seal of the United States.
Grossy Pelosi!
And that Great Seal of the United States has on it, Novus Order Seclorum, a new order for the centuries, for the ages, forever.
It all leads to the one world government.
James Warburg, son of CFR founder Paul Warburg, delivered blunt testimony before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee on February 17, 1950. "We shall have world government whether or not you like it, by conquest or consent."
So what do you think America's place in the new world order should be? It's always been seen as the global policeman. But as you said before, it's hard to see with all these military conflicts where the winner and loser lies. What should America be doing
I think
globally?
The global policeman should be the United Nations.
Check this one out.
The closest we came to the dream was when we were doing THX and everybody was writing their scripts. Everybody was hanging out at the pool table drinking cappuccinos and waxing philosophically about the New World Order.
Fucking stoned.